Hey everyone, welcome to BrickVault. Today is another Sunday Top 10 Mocks of the Week episode. This is where I show off basically any of the cool stuff that I happen to see people building out of LEGO throughout the week. And also remember to stick around for the end of the episode where you, the viewers, can submit your own mock creations. Also remember to check the video link in the description below to the proper email to send that to. But anyways, let's just get started right now with the very first one of the week. This is Wallace and Gromit, A Grand Day Out by Patrick B. This is a little vignette showcasing the main characters and some of the main elements from the first Wallace and Gromit short film. And in case you don't know where they're standing right now, I believe they're standing on the moon, which is made of cheese. Everybody knows that. And I can say I very much appreciate the build for both the characters Wallace and Gromit. We have our little lunar robot and of course all of the cheese picnic supplies that you need. I feel like this build could have worked as well with the surface of the moon being yellow instead of tan. But anyways, the characters have been captured quite well. And now let's check out number 2 in line, or really number 9, counting down. This is Steam Rocket Pit Stop by Dwalin Forkbeard. For those familiar with the Grand Day Out, I actually was really reminded of Wallace and Gromit by the shape of the rocket before I even saw the Wallace and Gromit build done this week. But of course, this classic rocket spaceship design has been steampunkified, if you will, with the main body being brown, presumably made out of wood. And here we have a lot of metallic and sort of smooth curved highlights that make up sort of the outer hatch. I really like the look for the hatch door there. And we have some mechanical details and equipment and stuff like that kind of sticking out on the sides. Very stylish, very sleek, very steampunk, really. And now let's segue over to the number 7 build for the week. This is a mini scale Millennium Falcon. I'm not entirely sure what scale you want to call it. The builder is Sad Brick, somebody who's been featured several times for top 10. Really great mocks come from this guy. And here's a much more sort of smooth and orb-like interpretation of the Millennium Falcon. At this scale, we've seen, I think, a lot more rigid lines, but I do like the way the back has been portrayed. You can't see the thrusters quite so well from this single angle that we get the build from, but I believe the trans blue openings are just a bunch of curved 1x1 studs. I like the way the main characters have been interpreted towards the bottom, and the Falcon looks wonderful inside this little hangar. Number 6 of the week is the Amsterdam Pizza House. This is built in the style of a custom LEGO modular building, and it is very possible that this design is indeed based on a real existing building within Amsterdam, or possibly just inspired by one. Either way, it's a wonderful build. The actual width of the structure has been narrowed down so we can have a fun and nice little sort of garden outside eatery area. The wooden fence has nice colorful patches, and it looks like there's colored lanterns hanging from the tree for sort of a nice ambiance for the patrons. There's absolutely nothing lacking on the interior of the pizzeria either, and every single room inside this house is wonderfully furnished. It is quite a modular building, very impressed with this. But let's check out number 5 on the list. This is back to spaceships again. This is the Interstellar Surveillance by Mark Falworth. There's a little bit of backstory to this build if you check out the flicker, but I think everything you pretty much need to know is within the title. This is Surveillance. You can see our classic space guys hanging out over the edge, and it looks like they're checking out some M-Tron inspired builds down below that seem to be on some sort of mining mission. Not only are the M-Tron vehicles really cool, these aren't the classic builds from the sets, but something that's been sort of modernly interpreted, but also just look at this Martian landscape. I love the changing colors that go up the mountains, and I really appreciate this builder putting so much time and effort into this massive landscape with really just some small points of interest. Really sets the tone for a very complete scene, and let's move down to number 4. This build is called Predator Wolf by the builder Takamichi Iri. Predator is a fan favorite among sci-fi fanatics and therefore has been repeated several times in LEGO in the past. Here's a wonderful size for the character, and I think some of the more iconic details about this guy have been captured really well within the sort of build style that was used. His face is kind of stuck open in the sort of classic split face mouth that this guy has. You can see the sort of dreaded hair that comes down the sides, and I especially like the sabers being used for the dual claw on his wrist. I suggest checking out the flicker for this particular builder if you want to see some more awesome Alien and Predator builds. Moving down now to the top 3, this is Jack and the Beanstalk by Grant Davis. He had a bunch of great builds that came out this week, and here is just an incredibly creative one. I absolutely love the playing around with forced perspective. So of course we've got Jack climbing up the beanstalk, made almost entirely of what looks like alligator pieces. There's even a frog thrown in there. And perhaps you can tell what the clouds are made of, or at least primarily made of. I believe it is that sort of hot air balloon piece. And you can see the distant castle, though I doubt it's actually that far away. And probably my favorite aspect of the entire build is the pathway that leads up to the castle. Just a very clever layering of that same cloud piece that was used with a brown one, kind of sandwiched in the middle. Right now, we're not just looking at a piece that is a technical LEGO achievement, but instead this is just a wonderful image that was composed using a clever form of LEGO pieces. Absolutely awesome build. I really do encourage you guys to check out this particular flicker, and let's move down to number 3. I think I lost count at some point. Number 3. The title here is ASTF GL3. I believe this is based on a particular character from Discworld, according to the description. Not really a concern of mine. This is just such a cool scene. I love this so much. Here we have what looks like the devil hanging out in his office. Not entirely sure what creates that glowing effect underneath the floor. Perhaps they're LED lights, but you can see that they are shown through the studs that are kind of like the glowing lava peeking through the cracks. And the devil actually has a pretty nice looking desk in the front. Some stacked paper, ink and quill, maybe a stamp or something. And this is by far the best repurposed Nexonite piece that I have seen a purpose for. Really, a lot of clever stuff is going on in this build. I especially like that cracked floorboard. It really does look cool. But let's jump on up to number 2. Here is something I just could not avoid in the top list. This is the 1963 Stingray Corvette. Dave Slater is the builder, and here is just an immaculate car. This is something that I feel like could really work as a creator set. It's built just around the exact same size that a lot of these more recent creator big cars have been built at, and I think we have a lot of the sort of iconic detailing that really gets captured well here, especially those smooth wheel wells that are in the front and back of the car. The back window kind of curves down into that fun little V, and in general the smooth and sleek atmosphere of what is those Stingray Corvettes from the 60s is really captured well. On the flicker you can see a 1969 Stingray Corvette, also a great design, and this is basically my top pick for what I would love to see coming out of those big creator cars from LEGO next. Now, number 1, the top favorite pick for me this week was Hee the Rooster. I hope I'm saying that right. I believe this is a character from the most recent Disney Pixar movie, Moana. Never saw the movie, don't know. I actually did see this Rooster, and I thought I'd seen this character before because that sort of iconic bricked in the head look that Pixar is so good at making has crossed over to several characters throughout the years, and I suppose Hee the Rooster from Moana is the most recent iteration of that. I'm a firm believer that capturing a particular type of attitude or expression within a LEGO build is one of the most difficult things to do, and it's especially difficult when you are actually trying to emulate something that already exists. When it comes to an original imaginative build, you can always sort of change up what you were going for, or get inspired and switch directions halfway through depending on how the build goes, but here was a specific goal, getting this particular sort of character to kind of come to life in LEGO, and it really was successful. Awesome little rooster, and I really want to try to figure out how to build this thing on my own. It's so cool. Anyways, that's it for the top 10 MOCs of the week. I hope you guys enjoyed. Now is for the fan creations. I'm just going to let this slideshow run by, and remember to check out the links in the video description below, or check the description below if you want to send in your own fan creation for next week. All right, thanks a lot for watching, and we'll see you next time.